All right, beloved, we'll do a little chat on, you know, the information I get from aspect, right? The aspects, the planets that are actually in me, believe it or not, because in my sign I have the sun, the moon, Mars, and Mercury, and I was born on the Sabbath day, so you get Saturn too. So we have all of that, right? So we look at things a little bit differently. From those aspects, the spirit of my mind gets painted, right? And I get to see the things those aspects are doing, right? I can see where the little tiles on this toroid of reality spinning, right? Where those aspects are getting sprinkled in, right? So you think of our plane as like a disk existence, right? Where the aspects from the planets get sprinkled down on us. We get benefit from the sun and moon, the earth, and all the other planets. And that's how humans are created in the psychosocial form, right? The original format is, of course, the zodiac, but an aspect is how we get society, right? We get society from aspects. That's why the Greeks, the ancients personified them, right? Some are over this part of the society, this part of things, music, uh, industry, mechanics, right? Which is also Samael, that's all Mercury stuff. And Saturn. The highest mind in Mercury is Saturn, which is the architectural, the building, the applied science mind, right? Not just application, but application to building and benefit where more than just the scientist gets a novel approach at and a recognition for something. That's a Jupiter move. A Saturn move is you came up with a novel approach to create a material process that you can apply to building because it's more sustainable or less toxic, right? Give you an idea of how aspect works. What we're supposed to be looking at in this time, in this age, I guess it is closing off. Where Jupiter is, I guess he's a criminal now, right? He's doing all the things that ought not be done. And he's used his benefit in his age and his technology to elevate himself and his people, the people that follow after his ideals, above their ability. I mean, above their merit, right? Because AI doesn't really merit people. It merits they came up with a bunch of, think of this. They're like the Chinese people who made a bunch of plastic toys who have to figure out how to get rid of them. They have to get everybody engaged with it, start marketing, get the Americans into marketing, doing all this stuff, like get people engaged with it, right? Well, that's this. They have to get you engaged with it. And the response pathing, not good. It's malignant because it's used against us. It's the same thing as talking to the state. Anything could you say or could be used against you every time when you're out about, right? Because that's how this place is. It's supposed to be a silent society, a Fifth Amendment society, right? Full of witches, where we don't say anything, right? And let the slander work out, and not. It's a game, guys. This is hell. It's real flexible. We could do a lot with it. In fact, it ain't even got to be bad. It could be all good. But somebody who is supposed to have an all good age took the resplendence and benefit and the abundance and used it against everybody, right? There was something that wasn't supposed to happen. I guess we weren't supposed to break out and steal every damn thing in America, right? That whole process was a process that wasn't supposed to happen that way. It was benefits in Jupiter, right? And it's getting trimmed back. Who knows what the future of this place is? It's totally flexible. Large polarities show up, and people think they're going to be there forever. I mean, there was a time where Persia ruled the world, right? They're not doing that. And they just recently got into having something going on after a major regime-changing collapse, right? But everybody wants to go to space. It doesn't make sense to me, guys. We can't deal with here. You can't go up. Saturn told me, bottom line, you can't go past him. Right? There's like a waveform that's in this area that you go beyond, you're not you anymore, right? And it's required the gods, the planets, the aspects, right? We're in an age where a planetary sphere was supposed to be ruling in a certain way and it had parameters to follow. And each one of these gods get parameters to follow. Some do it a little bit better than others. And previous ages may have been a little bit better than others. Maybe the bodies or vessels we had have changed in value, and the aspect affects us differently, and it lives out a different reality here than it has before, because we know our minds and the resplendence of art is much different from age to age, right? We can see that there's some kind of change, right? No matter how much they try to categorize it, there's clearly a change, whether it's art style, ideologies, mental capacities, the type of teaching we do, right? Because that's changed more. People way back when were much more numistically oriented, right? Numbers and concepts, and they were harder to cheat. These days, people are really easy to cheat because we don't teach them. We don't teach them about the monetary system, the money, and all that stuff, because we want you to get engaged with stuff with companies who don't play fairly, right? So that you don't know no better. So there's a prevalent of them. There's many of them, right? But the same thing still happens, right? Them predatoring off you as individuals, whether it's funny financing or offering student loans that you're never going to be able to get a job to get anything to take care of, whatever it is. They chose people that they knew were not going to be able to do those things and allowed it to happen. And we're all beleaguered from it, the entire society. But we want to go north. We want to go to Mars. We want to go to the moon again. The aspect says the gods are saying that you can't leave. You need to put zeros behind where you're at in order to get anywhere different from where you are, because humanity can't leave where we're at until there's no left behind. As long as there's drunken people who can't get it together, druggies, homelesses, murderers, all these weird ass fucking break off things that can't be brought anywhere else. Think about this. What if the galactic exterior has been walling us off for a long time because the stuff in here cannot be let break out? And they've been trying to build us up to a certain point to where we're not doing those things, but we're nowhere near it. Because of the aspects here play a lot on our minds, right? And we live out the war ideology, the Jupiter ideology. Let's slide in on people, but not be actually meritorious, but capitalize on everybody's thing. The capitalist system is the Jupiter system, guys. They're above merit. That's what we said about the robber barons. They're above merit. They had all money and finance. We made it here to a place where the game was fresher, right? And we knew the game because we came from old money, right? We invented the game, right? Now you're in it. You guys can't leave this place until there's no one left behind. Bottom line. You guys can't move forward as humanity until there's no longer crackheads on Skid Row and people getting kicked out of places and opportunities not being afforded to them, to where we create subsex of human where there isn't such subsex of human, but we have mentally created the capacity, because in order for one group to be elevated, one group has to be de-elevated, right? But we can't move as a unit. Humanity can't go nowhere until it moves as a unit, and we all know that. That's what makes sense. Otherwise, the cohesion of the entire psychosocial complex would be directional instead of every direction out from the middle. And no one wants to be like each other because there's traits of each other that you can't be like that, right? And that's the mindset the world has of this place and other places. Well, you can't be like that. And then it pushes an ideology where you run in a direction that when you would you're not supposed to go that far. I want everybody to come back to the center. Humanity is where the center is, guys. We're moving in a direction together. But they don't want to do that. They have need for division. So division's going to be here. And turmoil's going to be here. And until there's no one left behind, we're stuck here, right? And your Hades is going to be as good as you make it, or as good as you allow people around you to be it, right? Because that has some capacity. Being too close to someone's waveform is not good for you, right? My conjecture, humanity cannot go anywhere. And Saturn's got you motherfuckers up in the stratosphere trying to make the next technology. You're like, nothing works here the same way. How are we going to bring all the food up for? You aren't. You aren't going there. Where are you going to go? There's no resources for you. You have to bring all your resources with you. You don't even know how your body's going to work when you get to that place. We're in an envelope, a parabolic concept, where the principles of our reality only work the way they work here. But they don't want you to think that because they need that money for that industry, that Jupiter industry where all sorts of shit money goes to it. Like, oh, we're fucking advancing. No, we're not. They're putting things up there to spy on you, and to do the things that are good for them, that they never tell you what they do. Typically, it makes your life, with every industrial revolution, less safe, less private, less benefic, right? And more advantageous for your controllers to have access to you. And we know that. Have a good rest of your day.